Hi, this is Maji Pace Ramos, and today's video is a tutorial on condos and what to look for in condominiums. This is in light of the very tragic events of Surfside. My sincere condolences to everybody that's been affected by this tragic event, and I myself have friends that are missing, so this is personal, and I know a couple that are victims. This is very personal to me, but I do feel this is a very important video for buyers and for condo unit owners of what to look for. A little bit about me. I've been a realtor for a million years, since 1993, but I was president of a condo board in 2000. And it was a hostile takeover. And we were in the middle of a huge project, and we had to clean house. Money was being siphoned. We didn't know who was doing what, so we had to fire everybody and start from scratch. Hired a new contractors, attorneys, property managers. It was nuts, and I wouldn't recommend it, but it was a tremendous learning experience. And as a result, I have a lot of unique knowledge on what to look for and how condos work and what questions to ask. And they're very specific to condos in Florida, clearly, but actually these would pretty much apply to any condo in any area. So when I'm working with a buyer, for example, I will try to get to the property early if possible, and I will walk through a garage. I'll go through stairwells. I'll go through areas that are not public spaces, because you can really tell a lot about the condition of a building in those areas. Usually you have exposed ceilings and roofs, and that's a real good indicator of what's going on. Spalling is a very common issue here. We are, coastal. It's a constant maintenance issue. Where it really becomes a major concern is when there's spalling on structural support beams or structural walls. These are major red flags. And if you start seeing rebar and rust, that's a huge red flag. Now, that means that hasn't been maintained, basically, is what that means. And this is, God knows what's going on in other areas where you can't see behind the walls or in the ceiling or the roofs. Now, this can be an issue in the newer construction as well. This is just the nature of what happens in coastal properties. The salt and the sand and everything, this is what it is. So that's the first thing I do. I walk through garages and stairwells, take a look at what's going on. I talk to the property managers if I can. Sometimes they won't even speak to you, but I think everything's going to be changing now in light of all of what's happening. But basically, I do ask a lot of questions, and I want to know what's being done to address any structural issues that I've seen. I bring it up, and I ask a lot of questions, and I don't. You have to ask very specific questions, because a lot of times they don't really want to answer them, because of liability or because they really, can't. But there's ways to ask questions where you do get the answers that you need. You want to look at budgets. You want to look if there's a reserve. Most buildings down here don't have reserves. That's probably going to change now. I'm sure it will. And I'm sure a lot of the decisions regarding life safety items is going to be taken out of the hands of, in my opinion, of condo boards, and probably have some kind of an oversight committee that will take care of that. Condo boards can become a very political thing. It's a thankless job. These are people are not paid. These is volunteer. And it's a lot of work. Having said that, there are buildings that are mismanaged, whether it's because of the decisions of the condo boards or because of the unit owners. When you don't have a reserve and you have a major project and you have to assess, an assessment is something that has to be voted on by the entire condo unit owners, the entire building. And so that can become problematic, and that can tie the hands of a board, if they want to do a repair, but can't, because they can't get the association, the entire building, to agree. A lot of things are going to have to change in order to avoid what happened in Surfside. I also speak to property managers. I look at budgets. This is just an added layer. It's not, doesn't replace any inspections that a buyer should be doing on their property. Definitely buyers should be doing full inspections and maybe even do a, get some structural inspections of the building. And also, look at those financials and look at what the money's being spent on and what projects are coming up and the age of the building and the condition. These are all very important things to look at. I have a lot of experience. I can add an extra layer of protection to even consider or decide to proceed with an offer. This is not a guarantee. I'm not an inspector. I'm not an architect. I am, I'm not an engineer. I'm a realtor, but I have a ton of experience, and I do have an interior design background. Not that that means anything when it comes to structural items, but having been past president in the middle of a major project does give me a unique experience on what to look for. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you're a unit owner or, a buyer, and there's, this is no strings attached. If you just want to talk and just get my input on what you should be looking for, I'd be happy to speak with you. Like magic, I'll get it closed.